Hello everyone, I'm Malaceo and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about pretty much my 36 hours, my 36 hours of travel. So I flew out of Atlanta and I traveled over to San Diego. I had like a 2-hour layover in San Diego, and from there I took a 11-hour flight all the way over to South Korea, and I had a super long layover in South Korea. 13-hour layover to be exact in South Korea. And then from there, I went to Da Nang, Vietnam. So with that, y'all, I would have to say that me having the Venture X card, or at least having lounge access, it was like a saving grace. I was able to sit down, relax, wash up, and I think that's a big part of it, is like, you know, being able to wash yourself or to like sit down and like fully relax and not just be like surrounded by other people. And then food is included. They had like coffee included, like liquor included. So I did have I had like like 2 gin and tonics. I had like 2 gin and tonics because it was like help yourself type of situation, and I was like, yes I will. And they had like espresso and stuff like that, but the espresso is like, it was strong. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Sorry, like this hair, like when I say the espresso was strong, it was strong. So I only needed like 2 cups of that, but like I said, like having water accessible, like bottles of water and things of that nature, so you can just sit down and work. And I think also being in that type of environment where, how do I put it? It's like, you know, other people are paying, or at least they have either, you know, like a Venture X card, or they do have some type of travel card. Very used to travel, I would like to say, could I, you know, you felt comfortable. You wasn't, you know, necessarily getting like any stares or anybody just like try to investigate or like look at you or try to worry about what you're doing. The service was super nice. Another thing is that they had a screen where you could see like where you go, like what gate that you go to and stuff like that. But I'll talk about it a little bit more in detail with the lounges. So my experience, so my dad was like driving me around here and there, whatever, around Atlanta. And part of me felt like he didn't want to like let go a little bit, because when he gave like the final hug and stuff, and I was like, well, bye, like this is it, like, you know. And I didn't cry, I still haven't cried. So I think it's more excitement, and I think I'm not as, you know, I guess hurt or sad about the departure, which is a really good thing. But yeah, I checked in, they checked my visa, they checked all the other little stuff, and it was like a lady that was there before you actually go to the booth, and she did her check-in with me through their system. It was United Airlines, and she asked me if I was going to check any bags, and I was like, no, because I had my personal bag and I also had my carry-on that has like all of my stuff in it. So thankfully I didn't have to worry about checking or rechecking my bags in. Like that was my main thing. Like I did not want to check my bags because of the, you know, potential threat of the airline being late, or, you know, I'm not going to say worse, but there's a lot of things happening right now with planes. But I was like, I don't want it to be late. And then I got like 2 hours, because like I was changing airlines and I was also flying international, leaving San Francisco. Like that was my main thing. I'm like, if I have to change my bags, even though it didn't say it, but it also gave the warning that, hey, maybe you do need to change if they ask you to or whatever. So that would have left me 2 hours, and that's not a lot of time to get across, because some airports, like their domestic flights versus their international flights would be all the way on the other side of the airport. And that's like a whole hassle to like sit there, look, recheck your bags, and to go through all of that stuff. So I do want to put that out there, that that is a possibility. If you are checking bags and stuff like that, sometimes they'll give you a warning, they'll be in the red that you will have to recheck your bags, but pay attention to that. And a lot of times they will accommodate you with a longer layover, but just in case they don't, you know, it's out there. And I also suggest booking it all at the same time. Like, don't book like, okay, I'm going to do this layover, and especially if you're not checking, if you got like, I would say give it 5 hours, especially if the next flight, if you're having a domestic flight, or if you're going, if you're having a domestic flight in the United States, then you're leaving to go international and you need to have a layover, or you're having a layover in another country and you're also changing airlines, you want to look into that, because a lot of things, I feel like a lot of things are changing, and I'm just measuring it to what it was like, you know, I would have to say like 10 years ago or whatever, when I was in the service. But still, you gotta sort of understand and, you know, grasp things for what it is. Because sometimes if you're traveling, and especially you're doing quick travel, you don't got 2 weeks for them to lose your bags and to send it to you to your hotel, because you're already, you know, potentially booked to go to the next place by the time you're supposed to even get your bags. And that's a lot of stress right there. So I just put that out there. That's why I packed as minimal as I could. And also another thing, I don't know if it's just the new microphone or whatever I've gotten. For whatever reason, it's just, I don't know if it's just not connecting correctly. Like, I did a test and I spoke into the mic when I did my last video. And when I try to do it again and like try to upload it, there was no sound again. So I don't know, I had to probably like go in and like really try to figure that out. But yeah, until then, I mean, it's quiet now, you can hear me. So continuing with the 36 hours. So and like, that's another thing with like, I was leaving internationally and I was trying to, you know, get my seat or whatever with Asiana. Great airline, like, I'm not gonna even lie, like they fed us twice, maybe an hour after we got into the sky, and maybe 2 or 3 hours before we landed. They fed us like pretty decent meals, and the seats were pretty comfortable. Like, they would sit back a good amount, and you can like sit back a decent amount also. So I did not have to check my bags. They also, what I've noticed, and I don't know if other airlines do this or don't do that, is the way that they have you put your carry-on bag into like the overhead storage. Like, you put it down flat and then you flip it over so you can fit more bags, especially like when you have like the 4 seats, like the middle section and stuff like that. And you know, I feel like other airlines, and I'm just saying, speaking for like American Airlines, I feel like they do that, and they have been doing that, because there's been like domestic flights that we would take and be like, oh, we can't fit all these bags. And it's just like, why don't you just, and it's like, no, they can't fit. And it's like, if they can't fit in these bags or carry-on bags, and they're supposed to be a specific size, they're a specific size, so you can alter them, and they all should be able to fit at least one per person. In your personal bag, you put it under. So I think that's just like a little bit of a scam that they be trying to do, but whatever, I digress. And also with what was it? So I also came in, and thank goodness, like, you know, they come out early so you can, you know, talk to them and get your stuff finagled. Because I was worried, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna get a, like, you know, like, I was trying to get like a window seat and stuff, but thank my ancestors, thank the universe. Even though I didn't pay for, except for United Airlines, all the other ones I did pay. I mean, I only paid for United Airlines to have the window seat, but Asiana, all the other flights, I had window seats. So I was pretty comfortable for the most part. I sat back and I watched Invincible because I had to like catch up on it. Because like I said, that's one thing that I need to do. As far as like what I want to do is catch up on my anime, catch up on my cartoons, catch up on my shows. Because like working the way I was working, I was like, child. I mean, I've been in Vietnam for like a week and a day, and I still haven't like sat down and like did it. It's just like I'm still trying to gauge, I guess, you know, how I'm going to be doing my work and stuff like that. So we'll see. But anywho, so even like the people were nice, everything was, you know, copacetic and things of that nature, like getting onto the flight. And especially from like San Diego to South Korea. So I was in South Korea airport, and I was confusion, girl. I was confusion, and I had to like watch a like YouTube video to sort of understand like the layout of it. And after I got to it and got the gist of it, I remember that I had to put my data onto roaming for Google Fi, because like, you know, now I'm in another country, and I'm like calling them. I'm like, hey, it says roaming, girl. What does that mean? Is that good? Or are we clear? Oh, are we okay? Are we okay? And it was like, you know, you're good, like, you know, the roaming and stuff like that, and this, that, and the other. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just be a little bit more like hesitant about it. So, you know, my dad wanted to contact me and stuff, and I'm like, you know, we should just do this WhatsApp thing or whatever, because I'm like, I don't really trust it right now. And, you know, granted, I did have like 2 or 3 days left in my billing cycle for me to actually see what charges I would get, if any charges. So that was good. So I did not get any extra charges like at all for the call. I mean, me and my dad had like a 5-minute call, so I can give him an update and to tell him how to work, you know, certain apps and stuff like that. So now back to the using the Venture X card, but through a priority pass to get to the lounges. When I looked up lounges in Atlanta, I was like, there's like only like 1, maybe 2 lounges that was available. The South Korea one, like the airport, they had like 7, maybe 10 different lounges. And when I say that, I was just like, and I'm sitting here like trying to compute it, and I'm like, well, they said Atlanta airport is the most busiest and efficient in the world. So anytime I think about any time I've been in the Atlanta airport, no matter how late, there was always flights going in and out. But with the one that I got, we landed at like 5:30 in the morning, like their time. So it was like empty. There was like nobody there, like nobody there. And even when I was passing through, and it's like you had to like recheck yourself in from like international flights coming into South Korea to go to a layover. So that's why I had like my bags and stuff with me. Yeah, there was just like one thing that happened. I had my nail clippers, and like the guy that pulled them out and whatever, he was like, hey, these are pointy, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, just get rid of it. And they were like, are you sure? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, if you're gonna take it, then just take it. Like, like what I'm gonna do, fight you? Like, just take it, girl. Like, it's just like nail stuff. And you know, that's just me like being overly like, oh my God, what about my care and stuff like that. And like, you know, now that I'm here and I'm settled in, there is a little bit of stuff that I can get rid of. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's some things I can get rid of, okay? Even considering that type of situation and get rid of certain things, I went through, and you know, also it's sort of funny. I think it's also like a curiosity and stuff like that. Like how tall I am and things of that nature. And it's like people are trying to be nice, but they're not trying to stare, but they're staring, and they're like, I was just like tickled a little bit, like, you know, it is what it is, whatever. Like, I was already overseas at a point in time, so I sort of know, and it's just like the curiosity. And I can't even say, like, you know, there's been times, like, even as American and, you know, being, I guess, somewhere, like, there'll be certain times, like, I'm at a mall and we're just walking around, and I remember this one guy, he was tall, y'all. He was like maybe 7 foot. He had to be 7 foot. And you know, when people just like, you just see something, like, you're like, God damn, boy, hello. So it was like, I could get it. And especially when, you know, I guess your phenotype is like so different or whatever. It's just like, you know, it's just curiosity. It was like nothing bad. It didn't bother me. But yeah. So yeah, so like the lounge. I will try to put in some pictures and stuff of the lounge, but like I said, like food was provided, drinks as far as coffee, water, juice, like cocktails you make or whatever, like you can make for yourself or whatever. Pretty laid back, like they'll come pick up the stuff for you, pick up anything you needed. If you needed to take a shower, also like toilets, everything was clean. All the information as far as like boarding, where to go, where to board and stuff like that, all of that stuff was already provided, and it was pretty easy to get to. So that was just sort of like my main thing. It's like sometimes I did like just walk around, but like even like the terminal that I was at, it was a little bit different. So like I was walking around the terminal for a good bit, and if you don't pay attention, there's like 2 escalators that takes you up to the food court. And I'm like, do I really want to go to the food court and be in the food court and then have to go through the whole, and that's another thing, you know, like exchanging money and stuff like that just for a 13-hour layover and stuff like that. Like, I'm not trying to do that. So I was just trying to figure out, like, I was going to, you know, doing my work, trying to rest, getting myself mentally, you know, ready to go to my next location, like contacting like the Airbnb and stuff, and sort of doing research and stuff like that right before, you know, I landed. Because like what I like to do in particular, I don't like to take money with me. I rather just pull the money out of the ATM, because I'm a veteran and like they'll pay me back, you know, whatever I have to pay for to get the money out in general. And you know, that's the difference of everything. So I just pull my money out of, you know, the bank. So that's what I do. But even when pulling my money out of the bank, I have like a debit card that's like a travel card, so I will freeze it after I use it at any ATM, just in case. But I don't make it a habit of going to a sketchy place. Like the only ATMs I go to is directly connected to a bank, or it's like at the airport. But places like a bus stop and stuff, if the bus stop isn't attached to the airport and stuff like that, you know, like the little caddy places and stuff like that, like I don't use my cards there. I don't. So maybe that's like a tip for you guys, maybe not. Like that's what I've been told, and I'm not trying to go around and find out and test it out myself. I'm not doing that, okay? I'm not. So yeah, so that was my 36 hours in all. I might have some pictures and stuff or some videos of like the airport and maybe the lounge and stuff like that in here somewhere. But pretty much that was the gist of my time. I felt like it was a pretty good breakup. My first flight from Atlanta to San Francisco was 5 hours, and from there 11 hours. But it was that, like, me starting to feel like weary and tired, or even having like a slight headache, maybe for like too much caffeine and not sleeping. I started to like feel it. That's when I was that 13-hour layover that was happening. So I think it's very important, especially when you have long layovers, to see if you can get some type of lounge access. I'm just saying. And then even my check-in, yeah. So my check-in to Vietnam with my passport and stuff like that was super easy. Like, the lines was not nearly that long. They had you show like your passport and then also your visa, and they'll look at you, stamp it, and that was it. Like, it wasn't anything extra. So super happy about that. Even going from the airport, it was weird how they had their signs, because I kept on walking up and down and up and down, and I felt like some of that stuff was done a little bit on purpose, because I feel like the taxis were trying to get like the upper hand. Because, okay, so you walk out the door, right, and you see the sign where it says Lyft, and like, not Lyft, but Grab pickup, which is like their Lyft and Uber. So I was trying to go there. I wasn't trying to go with a taxi, because, you know, especially you coming from an airport, you're more prone to like scams and stuff like that. But there's a place where you can walk directly across, and I can see that they're taxis, they're not Grabs. So I see the sign that says Grab this way. So I keep on walking down, and then there's a sign all the way at the end where the Grab is supposed to be, where the sign is telling you to go back that way for Grab. I like even walk across to like where I see other people walking, because maybe they know something that I don't know, and that was for like bus pickup. So I was just like, let me go over here, and at the same time I'm trying to find like the cars and stuff like that for Grab, and the guy was like, oh, we'll take you, and I'm like, well, here's a location and stuff like that, and there was like, oh, well, this, and I'm like, this is how much it's gonna cost, like this is how much it is. And I even like, you know, put it into my phone, like, you know, this is how much it's gonna cost, and it's like, yeah, everything's fine. So this guy didn't even drop me off. Like, he dropped me off close, but it wasn't nearly like where I needed to be. I still had to walk for like 10 minutes. And then on top of that, the reason why it took me so long to walk, because it wasn't that far away. It took me so long because Google Maps and stuff like that, how, like, even if it tells you that you're going in this direction, you could literally be going the opposite direction. And even when you're walking away from it, there was times that I like redid the location and it completely like switched. So instead of me walking away from it, even though it was telling me to walk this way, or it was like, it just wasn't getting it. So maybe like this is like another tip, especially when it's like a close location, just use like also just regular maps from your iPhone. That tended to work better than Google Maps. But also the Grab app, it will easily tell you like what direction to go, this way, that way, whatever, because it is what they use. So for me, when I put that on, and it took me directly to where I needed to go, but I marked my location. So I will be able to find it no matter what they said the address was, what it was it what it wasn't, whatever. So that's it on that. And that was my 36 hours worth of travel. And this is my video of when I first got to the hotel. So I made it, you guys. 36 hours worth of travel. Got lost trying to actually find the hotel, but I have made it. Cute room. Place I'm gonna be staying at for the next week. Oh, a nice little open shower situation. Bathroom. I am so happy I finally made it here. Like, I know that I'm tired, but I wanted to go and like eat something. Like, even though I'm not hungry, it's just my adrenaline. Yeah, you can see me. My adrenaline is like pumping right now. Like, I am like on 10 right now. But I know probably as soon as I take this shower and like lay down and stuff, I'm gonna be probably clocking out of here soon. Like, I'm just happy I made it. Everything's good. I'm ecstatic. Cause it's like right off of the, you can sort of see. And then the beach is like that way. But yeah, it just got done raining like maybe like as soon as I landed, it was like raining a little bit. So yeah, but yeah, I'm excited. I'll probably show some more tomorrow.